In 1994, I think for Nelson Mandela, it was the first time that he returned to Robben Island. And many of the former Rivonia trialists came as well, including Walter Sisulu, Nkosazana, and so on. It was at that time a very moving moment. Obviously he was surrounded by press, and there was a camera and television people. And we had lunch, and he talked about how it was to be in prison, and how I think it was his mother died. I'm not sure. Yes, it was his mother died, and he couldn't visit the grave and so on, how upset he was. I think for him it was a very moving time. There were some very moving and reflective moments. And when he went back into his former cell, in which that particular cell, he was in there for 17 years, he was very quiet, and he sort of looked out of the window, and I could feel that there were 17 years there. I first came across Nelson Mandela and members of the African National Congress, which was the ANC, in December 1951 in a place called Bloemfontein, which was the capital of the Free State, which was really the center of the apartheid movement. He was not one of the people in the forefront or on the platform. He was fairly reserved, I found. He had then become the youth leader of the ANC, and at that time the ANC decided upon creating the Defiance Campaign, which was a campaign to defy what they described as unjust laws, and allowed themselves to be put in prison or being sued or taken to court for their defiance. In 1952, I went to meet Nelson Mandela in his office. He was a lawyer at the time, and he had an office together with Oliver Tambo, who was then the president of the ANC. After this, we met a few times in a printing shop, a small little place that printed the ANC pamphlets and ANC posters. This printing shop was originally a bakery. At that time, during the 50s and the 60s, black people were not allowed to possess or drink alcohol. So the brandy was hidden in the old ovens, and after hours we had a bit of a party, and we got a big shovel, and a bakery shovel, and got the brandy out of the oven. We had curry chicken on newspapers, which we bought from a neighboring shop, and discussed the apartheid system and who would take over the new cabinet when the apartheid system is going to collapse. That was in 1952, believe it or not. And 1951-52 was maybe the time where the ANC, the African National Congress, began to thrive, to move, to become effective. And I think partly because of the Defiance Campaign, its membership rose from a few thousand to over 100,000 over a very short period of time. So they had a great effect on this. After Mandela's come out of prison, he asked me and my wife Claudia to come to celebrate New Year's with him and his friends, and Desmond Tutu was there and a number of others, and we were all sitting around joking, and that's the first time we really got together again. And he was very sentimental about the 50s period, about when we met, and about the Shebeens we had to sometimes meet, and about all the other friends that were with us at the time. And then again, in 2007, Nelson Mandela opened my exhibition about the Defiance Campaign at the Mandela Foundation in Johannesburg, and he was very moved about the people about the pictures and the people in the pictures, because they were all his comrades and all his colleagues. Many of them were not alive anymore. I can only say that I'm glad that I have been associated with Mr. Mandela, with Madiba, that I have met him, that I have been able to, had the honor of being able to photograph him. Nelson Mandela, I think, has done much, but he also will be eventually the greatest South African that has ever lived.